In a world where change is the only constant, Mo Shamil stands at the forefront, guiding title professionals to not just grow their businesses, but to master the art of innovation. With every episode, you're handed the keys to unlock unparalleled growth and stay ahead of the curve. Get ready for a transformative journey.
Welcome back to the deep dive. And honestly, it feels a little strange to say this, but Happy New Year, 2026. If you're listening to this, congratulations, you made it. You survived the freeze.
We really did. I mean, it has been a grueling couple of years for anyone paying attention to real estate, finance, or
just trying to buy a carton of eggs.
Exactly.
Wow.
But here we are, mid-January 2026.
And the vibe is just different, isn't it? I feel like for the last 24 months, we've all just been collectively holding our breath, just, waiting for the other shoe to drop or for the entire economy to just grind to a halt. But looking at the stack of research we have for today, it looks like the waiting game is over.
It definitely is. The data is finally painting a consistent picture. Analysts are actually calling it the Great Unlocking.
The Great Unlocking. Okay, I have to be the cynic here for a second. That sounds a little bit like marketing fluff.
A little bit, yeah.
Is it actually an unlocking, or are we just, getting used to the pain?
That's a fair question. It's not that the pain is gone, but the paralysis is. We're seeing movement again.
Okay.
We have a lot of sources to get through today, industry briefings, economic forecasts, some pretty terrifying notes on risk management, but we have to start with the number that's driving everything.
Magic number.
6.06%.
Right. So as of today, January 19, 2026, the 30-year fixed-rate mortgage has stabilized at 6.06%.
Now look.
I remember the glory days of 3%.
We all do.
You remember 3%. To a lot of people, 6% still sounds high. Why is this considered a victory?
It's all about context and psychology. You have to remember, we just spent 2 years seeing peaks over 7% sometimes.
Flirting with 8%.
Flirting with 8%. And that terrified the market. It wasn't just expensive, it was volatile. You couldn't plan a closing because the rate might jump half a point in a week.
So it's the stability that matters more than the raw number itself.
Exactly. 6% seems to be the psychological threshold where the math starts to make sense again for people.
It's not free money like 2021.
No, but it's not punitive like 2024 was. It's a workable number.
Okay, so the ice is melting. We've got 3 big waves to cover today.
Yeah.
A residential rebound, a massive shift in corporate mergers, which we need to talk about because there's some serious money changing hands.
A ton of money.
And a commercial real estate boom that is actually, from what I'm reading, pretty complicated.
And we cannot forget the risk landscape. Because as money starts moving again, the predators have evolved, the fraud we're seeing now, it makes the phishing emails of 2023 look like
child's play.
Seriously.
Yeah, the notes on the deepfake tech gave me chills. We will definitely get to that. But let's start with the macro rebound. We have a forecast here from Lawrence Yun at the NAR.
Right.
He's projecting a 14% increase in home sales for 2026. That's a double-digit jump.
It is, and it's the signal that the lock-in effect is finally dead.
Okay, let's dig into that lock-in concept. For the listeners who hasn't been obsessively refreshing Zillow, this was the idea that nobody would sell their house because they were clinging to that 3% mortgage.
Right. Correct. It was the golden handcuffs. Why on earth would you trade a $2,000 mortgage payment for a $4,000 payment on a similar house?
It made zero financial sense.
None.
So what changed? Did everyone just suddenly get rich?
No, life just caught up with them. Think about the timing. A massive cohort of people bought homes in 2020 and 2021 during the pandemic rush.
Right, the frenzy.
Well, do the math. It's 2026. That was almost 6 years ago now. In the housing industry, 5 to 7 years is the typical tenure for a first-time home buyer before they outgrow the property.
Ah, I see. So the pandemic buyer is now the parent with a toddler and a dog and a one-bedroom condo.
Precisely. We call them the Ds of real estate. Diapers, divorce, diamonds, death.
Life events.
Life events.
Yeah.
For 2 years, people put those life events on hold, or they just suffered through the cramped space because of the rates. But you can only delay life for so long. The friction of living in the wrong house has finally outweighed the friction of the higher rate.
So the dam is breaking, not because the rates hit some magical low number, but because the human pressure became too high.
That's it, exactly. And that's why we're seeing inventory up 20% compared to early 2025.
And where is that inventory coming from? Is it new construction?
Some of it is.
Yes.
A lot of it is existing homes. It's that backlog of people who wanted to sell in 24 and 25, but were just too scared.
Got it.
Now, with rates stable at 6%, they're finally listing.
Which is huge for the industry.
Right.
I mean, if you're a title agent, a home inspector, a real estate attorney, inventory is your oxygen.
It's everything.
You can't close deals if there are no houses to sell.
It is the raw fuel for the entire engine. A 14% jump in sales volume basically saves the year for thousands of small businesses that were on the brink of failure last year.
Okay, so the residential market is waking up. But this is where I want to pivot, because the business side of the industry is acting weird.
Weird is a good word for it.
You'd think with sales up, everyone would just be happy to get back to work. But the sources are talking about a frenzy of M&A mergers and acquisitions.
It's not just weird, it's aggressive. We are shifting from survival mode to acquisition mode.
The outline mentions dry powder. We hear this term constantly in finance. There's so much dry powder on the sidelines. Is this real money, or is it just something private equity guys say to sound important?
Oh, it is very real. And more importantly, it has an expiration date.
Wait, money expires?
In private equity, yes. Kinda. These firms raise funds from investors with a promise to deploy that capital within a certain time frame, usually a few years. They spent 2024 and 2025 sitting on their hands because the market was too uncertain.
They couldn't find good deals.
They literally couldn't. So now the clock is ticking.
The alarm is ringing. They have billions of dollars that must be spent, or they have to return it to investors, which is, a disaster for their fees and reputation.
So you have these firms like Alltech and the big national underwriters who are flush with cash and just desperate to buy.
Okay, so if I'm a local title agency owner and I survive the freeze, does this mean I'm about to get a massive payday? Are they throwing money around like it's 2021 again?
Absolutely not. And this is the harsh reality check. The sources describe a shift to valuation realism.
Valuation realism. That sounds like a polite way of saying we're going to pay you a lot less than you think.
That's exactly what it is. In 2021, you could sell a business based on a multiple of its revenue, just how much money flowed through the door.
Right.
Today, buyers don't care about your top line. They care about EBITDA. They care about profitability and efficiency.
So they aren't just buying market share anymore.
No. They are looking for transformational deals. They want capabilities. Specifically, the briefing highlights two things: proprietary AI data pipelines and commercial expertise.
Let's stick on the AI part for a second.
Yeah.
Because everyone puts AI in their pitch deck now. What does an AI data pipeline actually look like in a title company?
It's not just using ChatGPT to write emails, right? We're talking about back-end infrastructure.
Okay.
If you're a big buyer, you want an agency that has automated the title search.
Yeah.
You want a system where the search and exam process happens in seconds, not days.
Because that's where the margin is.
That's where all the margin is. If I buy your company and you're still doing everything manually with humans reading PDFs, I have to fix that. That costs me money.
But if you've already built the tech,
If you've already built the tech that automates 80% of the grunt work, you are a gold mine. That's what they're paying a premium for. Vertical integration of efficiency.
and the other target is commercial expertise, which bridges us perfectly to the third wave, the commercial boom.
And this is fascinating data. Commercial transaction volume is up 25% in early 2026.
25% is a massive jump, especially since we keep hearing that office buildings are dead. If offices are dead, what are people buying?
They're buying the potential to change the office into something else. The headline here is office to residential conversions.
We've been talking about this for years, turning empty skyscrapers into apartments. It sounds great on paper, but the sources here say it's complex.
Complex is an understatement. It's a nightmare.
Mike, it's a building, it has walls, it has a roof. Why can't I just put up some drywall and call it a condo?
I wish. Think about the physical structure of an office building. The floor plates are huge, maybe 20,000 square feet,
Okay.
and all the plumbing and bathrooms are in the central core right by the elevators.
Right.
Well, if you slice that floor into 20 apartments, how do you get plumbing to the unit on the far window line? You have to jackhammer up the concrete floors. And speaking of Windows residential code requires bedrooms to have windows that open.
And office windows.
They don't open.
So you're basically rebuilding the ship while it's floating.
Exactly. And that's just the construction side. The title and legal work is even messier. You are taking a property that was legally described as one giant commercial block and fracturing it into hundreds of individual residential titles.
Oh, wow.
You have to deal with easements, air rights, mixed-use zoning for retail on the ground floor.
I see. So when the report says these projects require multi-layered underwriting, they mean you need a title officer who is basically a legal surgeon.
Yes. And that is why those M&A buyers want criminal agencies. There are very few people who know how to underwrite these deals correctly. If you have that talent on your staff, your value just skyrocketed.
And the money is there. Banks are actually lending on this.
They are now. New CRE debt origination is up 13% from late 2025. The lenders have realized that a vacant office building is worth zero, but a converted apartment building is a real asset.
So the capital floodgates have opened.
They have.
So we have a rebounding housing market, a corporate buying spree, and a massive construction boom in our downtowns. It sounds like a party.
It is a party. But, oh, I knew there was a but coming.
You can't have this much money moving this fast without attracting sharks. And the sharks in 2026 are terrifying.
This section of the report is titled, From Resilience to Anti-Fragility. Can we unpack that? Because anti-fragile feels like a buzzword.
It's a philosophy from Nassim Taleb. Resilience is when you get punched in the face and you stand back up. Anti-fragility is when you build a system where when you get punched, you actually get stronger. Okay, so why do we need to be anti-fragile now?
Because the threat landscape has totally shifted. In 2024, the big threat was wire fraud via email phishing.
Please wire funds to this slightly different account number.
Right. We learned to spot the typos. We learned to double-check the email address. But the number one threat in 2026 is deepfake-enabled wire fraud.
Walk me through this. How does it happen in real life?
Okay, imagine this. You're a home buyer. It's closing day. You're stressed. Your phone rings. It's a FaceTime call from your real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
You answer. You see her face. You hear her voice. She's in her car apologizing, saying, hey, the title company just called. The wiring instructions changed. We need to route it to this FedRIF account immediately, or we missed the recording deadline.
And it's not her.
It's an AI avatar, real-time video and voice synthesis. It looks like her, sounds like her, blinks like her.
That is horrifying. I mean, if I can't trust my own eyes and ears on a video call, what can I trust?
That is the problem. The uncanny valley is gone. The tech is basically perfect. So resilience isn't enough. You can't just tell employees, be careful. You need structural defenses.
The briefing mentions a crackdown by insurers.
Yes. Following the massive data breaches in late 2025, the E&O errors and emissions insurance carriers basically went on strike. They said, we are not insuring this anymore unless you can prove you're protected.
And the requirements are steep. I'm seeing SOC2 for title. Now, wait, SOC2 is a software audit. It's what Google and Amazon do. Why does a title agency in Ohio need a SOC2 audit?
Because that title agency in Ohio is holding millions of dollars in escrow. The insurers are demanding SOC2 Type 2 compliance, which audits your security processes over time. They're also demanding AI governance policies.
What does that even mean?
It means you have to have a documented protocol for verifying human identity. You need multi-factor authentication that doesn't rely on voice or video. You need to prove that your employees aren't feeding sensitive client data into public AI models.
So this is the anti-fragility. You build a system where even if a deepfake calls your employee, the wire cannot be sent because the protocol prevents it.
Exactly. And here's the kicker. If you don't have these protocols, if you don't have that SOC2 stamp, you might not get insurance this year.
And if you don't have insurance, you can't close loans.
Game over.
So security isn't just an IT ticket anymore. It's a license to operate.
It is the barrier to entry. This is the double-edged sword of 2026. The market is unlocked. Yes, the opportunity is huge. But the bar for professionalism has been raised to the ceiling. You can't be a mediocre, low-tech operator anymore.
You'll either be hacked or you will be uninsurable.
Or you'll be acquired by someone who has figured it all out.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's a lot to process. On one hand, 14% more sales, huge commercial projects.
Yeah.
On the other hand, robot impersonators trying to steal your life savings.
It's a high-risk, high-reward environment, for sure.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, let's recap the perfect storm. Rates are stable at 6.06%. Inventory is finally flowing because the 2021 buyers are moving. Yep.
Life events.
M&A is targeting tech-heavy firms, and commercial deals are trying to turn office parks into neighborhoods.
That's the snapshot.
But before we go, I want to hit on that final provocative thought you mentioned during our prep. It's about the cities.
Right. We talked about office to residential conversions as a construction challenge, but I want you, the listener, to zoom out. Think about the central business district.
Okay.
For 100 years, the most valuable land in any city was the CBD. Why? because that's where the commerce happened. That's where the power was.
The skyscrapers.
Eh,
The boardrooms.
Exactly. The land value was tied to commercial productivity. But if we succeed in turning these downtowns into residential zones, if the skyscraper becomes a vertical cul-de-sac, does the concept of a central business district just die?
And what happens to the value of the dirt?
That's the question. Is an acre of downtown land worth the same if it's housing people instead of housing corporations? Are we witnessing a fundamental repricing of the urban core that we haven't even factored in yet?
That is a massive thought. We might be watching the end of the downtown as we know it, and the birth of something completely different.
And 2026 is the year we find out if it works.
Well, on that existential note,
Yeah.
we're going to wrap it up. 2026 is open for business, folks. The freeze is over. But keep your guard up. Verify those wires.
And maybe don't believe everything you see on a video call.
Words to live by. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. Stay curious, stay sharp, and we'll see you next time.
In a world where change is the only constant, Mohs Shamil stands at the forefront, guiding title professionals to not just grow their businesses, but to master the art of innovation. With every episode, you're handed the keys to unlock unparalleled growth and stay ahead of the curve. Get ready for a transformative journey